Do you believe that just a few simple ingredients in your kitchen could cut the risk of Alzheimer's by more than 50%? Sounds a bit hard to believe, doesn't it? But this isn't just an empty promise. Major studies have shown it to be true. No need for expensive technology or complicated processes. Sometimes, the key is right there on your dinner plate tonight. Alzheimer's isn't some distant threat. Among every 3 people over 65, 1 is living with some level of memory decline. Have you ever stood frozen in front of the fridge, forgetting why you opened it? Or been talking about an old friend, only to have their name slip from your mind, like a thread slipping through your fingers? We often tell ourselves, it happens to everyone. But the truth is, our brains age, and the speed of that aging is heavily influenced by what we eat every day. Today, we're going to explore 7 foods from the Min diet, a way of eating often called invisible armor for your brain. It might sound grand, but many of these foods you're already eating without realizing their value. And some things you thought were ordinary might just be the missing piece in your home-cooked meals. Ready to open your pantry and boost your memory? So, what are these 7 pieces of armor? Let's start with the first one, the invisible shield for your brain. 1. Dark leafy greens. If there's one invisible piece of armor you could drape over your brain every day, it's dark leafy greens. Sounds too simple? That's exactly why it works. The brain's enemies are oxidative stress and silent inflammation. Dark greens, spinach, kale, collards, Swiss chard, are packed with polyphenols and carotenoids like lutein and zeaxanthin, quietly sweeping away free radicals before they can bite into your neurons. Vitamin K builds a brick-like sphingolipid layer for cell membranes, making neural signals clearer. Folate acts like a repair crew, lowering homocysteine, a factor linked to brain atrophy, keeping nerve transmission smooth. Beta-carotene and vitamin E reinforce the protective walls around neural synapses, where memories are etched daily. Sounds academic? Picture this. Just about 6 servings a week, a bowl of raw greens, or half a bowl of cooked ones, and you're laying the first brick of your brain's armor. A small question. What if a bowl of greens could turn back your cognitive clock by 11 years? A study in the journal Neurology found that older adults eating 1 to 2 servings of leafy greens daily had cognitive scores matching people up to 11 years younger. This aligns with known mechanisms. Greens, slow amyloid, and tau proteins support blood vessels feeding the brain, and even regulate the gut-brain axis through fiber that nourishes beneficial gut bacteria. No wonder the Min diet with leafy greens as its foundation is linked to a striking reduction in Alzheimer's risk, even if you follow it only moderately. You'll see this in a very real story. Linda, 67, used to eat sandwiches for lunch, occasionally forget her neighbor's name, and stand in front of the fridge, unsure what she was looking for. She changed just one habit. One day, a spinach salad with olive oil and a sprinkle of almonds. The next, lightly sautéed kale with garlic. Sometimes Swiss chard tossed into a lentil soup. Nothing fancy, just rotating to keep the nutrient palette fresh. After 3 weeks, those little lapses grew rarer. Conversations with her granddaughter flowed smoothly. That afternoon, brain fog started to lift. No magic, just a brain better protected. How can you apply this to your meals at home? It's easy. A kale salad drizzled with olive oil, dotted with berries. A morning smoothie with spinach and almond milk. A quick sauté of collards paired with grilled fish. Even use charred leaves to wrap lean meat instead of bread. A tip to unlock fat-soluble vitamins. Pair with olive oil or nuts, and switch between spinach, kale, collards, and Swiss chard to capture every color of nutrition. Today, just add a bowl of leafy greens to your plate. Chew slowly and imagine your neural connections being gently nurtured. Small steps, steady steps. That's how you weave another layer of invisible armor for your memory, so the stories you want to tell stay vivid and whole for years to come. 2. Berries. If nature handed you a memory charger, it would be berries. Just half a cup, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries. They look like simple red, purple, or black dots, but their compounds can cross the blood-brain barrier and hit exactly where memories are pieced together. In the Min diet, berries are the green arrow aimed straight at your memory. The minimum recommendation? 2 servings a week, each just half a cup. Sounds too simple? Wait until you feel your mind lighten, sharpen, and your mood stabilize. Why are they so effective? Anthocyanins, the pigments giving berries their red and purple hues, act as both an antioxidant shield and a way to make neural synapses more flexible, letting neurons talk smoothly. Flavonoids in strawberries, like pelargonidin, are linked to reducing tau protein tangles, the kind that clog memory in Alzheimer's while supporting better blood flow to the brain. Fiber and polyphenols feed gut bacteria, producing short-chain fatty acids that lower systemic inflammation and fine-tune neurotransmitters. Vitamin C keeps blood vessels strong, ensuring the brain stays well-nourished. This isn't just theory. Regularly eating berries can slow cognitive aging by over 2.5 years. Blueberries have shown the ability to boost short-term memory within hours of eating. Strawberries are tied to better word recall and spatial navigation in middle-aged people worried about memory. When woven into the MIND diet, these foods contribute to a significant drop in Alzheimer's risk even if you only follow the diet moderately. A slice of real life. Daniel, 65, used to eat cereal and drink coffee for breakfast. Lately, he'd blank on words or stumble over the name of a new street. He made a small change. 2 or 3 times a week, he added half a cup of blueberries to his oatmeal, had unsweetened Greek yogurt with strawberries for lunch, or blended a smoothie with spinach and a few almonds. 3 weeks later, those little pauses faded. Afternoons felt less foggy, his mood steadier. No miracles, just less mental haze. You can do the same. Turn breakfast into a launch pad, oatmeal, yogurt, or whole grain cereal with strawberries or blueberries. A berry smoothie with spinach and a few nuts keeps you full and inches you closer to MIND's recommendations. For a light hunger pang, grab a handful of fresh or unsweetened frozen berries available year-round. At dinner, sprinkle a few berries on your leafy greens, drizzle with olive oil to let healthy fats carry those antioxidants further. Rotate between blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, and blackberries to get the full spectrum of flavonoids. Fresh or frozen works fine, just skip added sugar. Start now. Half a cup of unsweetened berries, twice a week. Small and steady like plugging in your memory charger. So tomorrow, when you recall an old friend's name or find your way home, you'll feel calm, clear, and in control. 3. Nuts. If there are crisp guardians quietly preserving your brain's youth, they're nuts. A small handful of almonds, walnuts, pistachios sounds ordinary, right? But behind that satisfying crunch lies a sophisticated defense system. Healthy fats keep neural cell membranes flexible, like they've been freshly lubricated, letting signals flow smoothly with less interference. Vitamin E unfurls an umbrella against the storm of oxidative stress, shielding neurons from lurking free radicals. Polyphenols tirelessly clear amyloid debris, keeping memory pathways open. Walnuts, in particular, pack ALA, a plant-based omega-3 small enough to cross the blood-brain barrier, nourishing neural synapses. Add to that magnesium and fiber, which balance neurotransmission, stabilize blood sugar, and support a healthy gut microbiome. And you know by now, the gut and brain are in constant conversation. It sounds high-tech, but the data is down to earth. Just over a tablespoon of nuts daily is linked to better cognitive function, like slowing brain aging by about 2 years. In the MIND diet, nuts play a big role in lowering Alzheimer's risk. Follow it closely, and the benefits are clear. Even moderate adherence still protects the brain. No surprise that walnuts often take the spotlight, with ALA boosting memory and motor skills in long-term studies. Picture Ellen, 66, a retired small-town librarian. Lately, she'd freeze mid-sentence, familiar words vanishing. Afternoons felt cloaked in a light mental fog. She made one change. In the afternoon, a handful of unsalted nuts in a ceramic bowl beside her teapot. A few days a week, she sprinkled them over morning oatmeal or a plate of leafy greens, steering clear of oil-roasted or sugary mixes. 3 weeks later, those pauses dwindled. Stories with her grandson flowed better. Afternoon energy held steady. No magic, just less haze in her mind. You can do this without upending your life. On the go, a handful of nuts fits in your pocket. Mornings, toss a few almond slivers into Greek yogurt. Evenings, scatter walnuts over a leafy green salad with olive oil to fully absorb fat-soluble vitamins. Love cooking? Blend nuts into a pesto for whole grain pasta. The key is simplicity. Choose unsalted, dry roasted, or raw nuts. Store them in an airtight container in a cool place. And remember, a small handful is enough to reap benefits without overdoing it. You don't need perfection, just consistency. Each time you pop a nut in your mouth, it's like sending your brain a calm message: I'm looking out for you. From there, neural connections grow more resilient, blood flow to the brain eases, and memories find a firmer foothold. Start today with a handful of unsalted nuts. Repeat, it's small, but the difference is big. 4. Olive oil. If there's a liquid gold that quietly supports your brain every day, it's olive oil, especially extra virgin. Just a thin drizzle over a plate of greens or a slice of fish, and its monounsaturated fats slip into neural cell membranes like a natural moisturizer, making signals glide smoother with less static. And the firefighting team? Polyphenols and vitamin E stand guard, snuffing out free radicals the moment they stir. Sounds too everyday to be effective? A major 2023 study noted that just about half a tablespoon of olive oil daily was linked to a lower risk of death from dementia. In the Mind Diet's big picture, olive oil is the cornerstone fat driving much of that celebrated Alzheimer's risk reduction. Why does it score so high? Extra virgin olive oil is rich in oleocanthal, oleuropein, and hydroxytyrosol polyphenols that dampen inflammation, neutralize free radicals, and help clear lingering amyloid proteins. Vitamin E adds another layer of antioxidant armor, keeping neurons resilient. With flexible cell membranes, better blood flow to the brain, and nutrients reaching their mark, synapses stay pliable, memories stumble less. Meet Margaret, 68, a retired elementary school teacher. She loved butter-slathered toast for breakfast and sautéed veggies in butter for rich flavor. Lately, mid-conversation, she'd freeze. A former parent's name would slip away. Afternoons felt cloaked in a light fog. She made one small, evidence-based change. She switched to extra virgin. A dark glass bottle sat ready on her counter. Mornings, she drizzled oil over a leafy green salad. At lunch, she sautéed veggies with olive oil instead of butter. Evenings, she stirred a small spoonful into lentil soup. About 1 to 2 tablespoons daily, avoiding long cooking to preserve flavor and compounds. After 3 weeks, her stories flowed better, fewer word hunts, and afternoons felt less sluggish. No magic, just a lighter mind, a calmer spirit. How can you apply this without upending your kitchen? It's simple. Summer salad, leafy greens, tomatoes, a few berries, drizzled with olive oil and lemon. A tray of chickpeas and roasted veggies, finished with a ribbon of oil when plated. A pan-seared fish at medium heat, capped with a spoonful of raw oil to lock in flavor. Love baking? Try a whole grain bread recipe swapping butter for olive oil, light yet moist. Choose extra virgin for maximum polyphenols. Store it in a cool, dark place, and use just enough daily to benefit your brain without excess energy. A small question for you. If a thin drizzle can widen your memory pathway, why not start today? Grab that bottle of olive oil. Add a touch to your greens or soup. Small, but steady. Each drizzle sends a message to your brain. Reduce inflammation, protect neurons, keep your life stories clear. Don't let memory's silent thieves get a head start. Make liquid gold a simple daily ritual so tomorrow you share every moment with clarity and warmth. 5. Whole grains. If there's a smooth fuel tailor made for your brain, it's whole grains. Unlike refined grains stripped bare, whole grains keep their bran and germ a treasure trove of vitamins, minerals, and fiber your brain adores. Starting your morning with oatmeal or a slice of whole grain bread, you've chosen a steady path for brain energy. No spikes and crashes, just even, lasting clarity well into the afternoon. Why so smooth? Fiber, especially beta-glucan and oats, slows sugar absorption, cutting those post-meal crashes that drag you into fatigue, irritability, and distraction. Magnesium acts like a conductor for neurotransmission and energy production, keeping brain cells in sync and less inflamed. B vitamins work backstage, synthesizing neurotransmitters and debugging genetic material, impacting both memory and mood. Oats even boast avananthramides, unique anti-inflammatory shields, that protect neurons from oxidative stress and amyloid interference. At the vascular level, whole grains keep blood vessels elastic, ensuring a steady flow to nourish the brain. No wonder studies link higher whole grain intake to slower cognitive decline and better memory with age. A slice of everyday life. Patrick, 63, hit a fog every afternoon around 3 mid-story. He'd stumble over a familiar name. Mornings meant pastries with sugary coffee. Lunch was white rice for speed. He made a few precise switches. Pastries became a bowl of soft-cooked oats with berries and nuts. Dinner swapped white rice for brown or quinoa. Sometimes, a warm farro salad with greens and beans. No calorie counting, just a commitment to whole grain topping ingredient lists. 3 weeks later, his personal glucose monitor showed steadier post-meal blood sugar and afternoon energy no longer tanked. In meetings, his thoughts stayed sharp, with fewer pause to recall moments, quiet but clear enough to keep going. You don't need to overhaul your kitchen. Just swap. Mornings lean toward oatmeal or whole grain bread. Main meals favor brown rice, quinoa, or barley. Salads get a base of warm bulgur or farro, drizzled with olive oil. For baking, choose whole grain flour for fragrant, lighter loaves. The golden rule? Check labels. Whole grain should lead the list, and rotate grain types to keep things fresh. Tie it to a simple ritual. Stirring morning oats like priming your brain's circuits. Scooping brown rice at dinner like paving a smooth road for tomorrow. Start at your next meal. Trade one refined white item for its whole grain version. Small, but steady. Each choice helps your brain dodge energy dips, quiet inflammation, and give memories a firmer grip. Delay, and that fog and those awkward name stumbles will visit more often. Act today, and you're investing in a resilient, alert, and proactive mind for years ahead. 6. Fatty fish. If there are foundation bricks for building a brain that stands strong against age, they're fatty fish. A palm-sized piece of salmon, mackerel, or sardines, once a week, sounds like just picking dinner, right? But in truth, you're quietly pouring concrete for your memory. DHA acts like a lining for neural cell membranes, keeping them soft and flexible so signals pass without stumbling. EPA leans into regulating mood and circulation, easing restlessness and ensuring smooth blood flow to the brain. Vitamin D tamps down inflammation. Protein supplies amino acids, the raw materials for crafting neurotransmitters. And the one fatty fish meal a week rule isn't just folklore. Those who stick to it show a markedly lower risk of dementia. Brain imaging even suggests better preserved gray matter and smoother neural connections over time. Why is this mechanism so compelling? Imagine swapping in high-grade oil for an old machine. Gears mesh, noise fades. DHA does that for neural membranes. Omega-3 second quench microscopic inflammatory sparks, paving the way for new neurons in learning and memory regions, like adding backup paths for your memories. At the vascular level, they enhance blood vessel function, ensuring the brain gets enough oxygen and nutrients. So, it's no surprise that weekly fish eaters have a significantly lower Alzheimer's risk. In the Mind Diet's big picture, a fatty fish meal is an irreplaceable piece. Meet James, 64, living in a coastal city, still driving his grandkids to the soccer field on weekends. Lately, he'd stall mid-sentence, especially when recalling a new street's name. By afternoon, his mood would dip fast. He made one small, evidence-based tweak. He locked in a weekly oven-baked salmon dinner, marinated with olive oil, lemon, and herbs. Kept a few cans of sardines for busy lunch salads with leafy greens or whole-grain bread sandwiches, and occasionally switched to a pan-seared mackerel fillet at medium heat. No deep frying to preserve omega-3 second. He prioritized sustainable sources and sometimes ate the crisped skin. After 3 weeks, his forgetful moments notebook thinned out. Chats with old friends flowed with fewer interruptions. Late afternoons felt steadier. No magic, just a thinner mental fog and a sharper grip on his words. This habit slots into Western lifestyles almost effortlessly. A baked salmon fillet, drizzled with olive oil, sprinkled with herbs, paired with whole grains. A warm veggie soup with a few sardine slices. A lunch salad with greens, beans, and canned salmon, dressed with olive oil and lemon. On the go, a whole grain bread sandwich with salmon and arugula. Need a smaller step? A few slices of smoked salmon on whole grain crackers deliver a quality omega-3 dose. You don't need to revamp your weekly menu. Just schedule one fatty fish meal and keep that promise to yourself. Each time you pick up a piece of fish, imagine you're boosting neural membrane flexibility, soothing inflammatory sparks, and widening memory's pathways. Hesitate, and those word stumbles and afternoon slumps will pile up. Start this week, and you're sending your brain durable materials for the long haul gently, steadily, and entirely within reach. 7. Beans and legumes. If I had to pick a natural multivitamin for memory, I'd name beans. Humble, inexpensive, so familiar we often overlook them. But just half a cup of cooked beans is like laying a small brick on a steady path to brain energy. Even, stable, no wild highs or crashing lows. In the Mind diet, lentils, chickpeas, and black beans are a compact, effective toolkit. The goal is simple to remember. 4 times a week, half a cup each time. Sounds too easy? Try it. And you'll notice less brain fog, steadier moods, and memories that stick better. Why are they so powerful? Folate in beans acts like a skilled repairman. It lowers homocysteine, aids in crafting neurotransmitters, keeping your mind clear and mood stable. Fiber slows sugar absorption, cutting those spike and drop moments that leave you tired and fuzzy post-meal, while feeding gut bacteria to keep the gut-brain axis calm and less inflamed. Protein and iron fuel and ferry oxygen to brain cells for steady work, while antioxidants quietly shield neurons from oxidative stress. Compared to processed meats, daily bean consumption is tied to a clearly lower dementia risk, a key piece in the Mind diet puzzle. A slice of everyday life. Sophia, 62, works part-time at a bookstore. Afternoons, her head felt heavy, like wearing a lead cap. Conversations stumbled over small details. She made a few small, evidence-based tweaks. Afternoons switched to a bowl of hummus with whole grain crackers and bell pepper slices. Twice weekly lunches included a well-rinsed can of chickpeas in an olive oil lemon salad. Weekends, she cooked a pot of lentil soup, portioned into fridge containers. Canned beans were rinsed to cut salt. Sometimes she soaked and cooked dried beans to control seasoning. 3 weeks later, those foggy 3 p.m. moments nearly vanished. Her mood leveled, less random irritability. Evenings, she read longer pages, not loud, but clear enough to stick with it. Adding beans to Western meals feels natural. A cozy bowl of black bean chili on chilly nights. A busy lunch of green salad with olive oil lemon dressing, sprinkled with chickpeas. For dipping, hummus instead of sugary spreads. On weekends, try a lentil burger with greens, or a bowl of quinoa mixed with beans, roasted veggies, and a drizzle of olive oil. A tip: pair with citrus or bell peppers to boost iron absorption with vitamin C. Rinse canned beans well. Fresh or dried works, consistency is what counts. Start at your next meal. Add half a cup of beans to what's on your plate. Small, but repeated. Each spoonful sends a message to your brain. Steady energy, reduced inflammation, protected neurons. Hesitate, and those sluggish afternoons and awkward name stumbles will visit more often. Act today, and you're choosing a simple yet powerful strategy to preserve your memory and agency for years to come. So, we've just walked through 7 everyday yet enduring pieces of armor for your brain. Dark leafy greens, the invisible shield; berries, the memory charger; nuts, the crisp guardians; olive oil, the liquid gold that soothes inflammation; whole grains, the smooth fuel; fatty fish, the foundation bricks for neural membranes; and beans, the natural multivitamin for memory. Together, they form the backbone of the Mind diet. Follow it strictly, and you could cut your Alzheimer's risk by up to 53%. Even moderate adherence is worthwhile, about a 35% reduction. You don't need perfection today, just lay one small brick each day for your memory's bridge. The surprise? These aren't luxurious. They're right in your kitchen, at the corner market, in the nearby grocery store. Just one meal swap. A drizzle of olive oil instead of butter. A bowl of oatmeal over a morning pastry. A small handful of nuts instead of a snack. Tiny changes, repeated steadily, can shift your future gently but surely. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with loved ones. Who knows? The simple meal you share tomorrow might be a big gift for their memory years from now. Thank you for joining me to the end of this video. Wishing you and your family strength, clarity, and peace on the daily journey of nurturing your brain.